Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of my podcast series. I've been wanting to start a podcast for so long just to have a little bit of a break from crocheting things all the time, like doing tutorials and crochet with me's. Sometimes it does take a toll on me. Sometimes I just feel like not crocheting for a very long time, which would mean that I upload a lot less on my YouTube channel, and I love uploading videos as well. So I feel like this podcast is a nice compromise because even when I crochet, I like listening to other people talk about certain topics while crocheting. It makes the whole creative process a lot more interesting. So hopefully you also find that within my videos. So today we're going to be talking about my creative journey and how I started creating things from scratch. And today we are also going to be crocheting a distressed sweater. I know it sounds a bit crazy. I'll put a picture up so you guys can kind of know what I'm talking about. So let's just talk about what I'm going to be using, what type of yarn I'm going to be using, just so you guys don't really have that many questions. So the first color that I'm going to be using is this black yarn. I rarely crochet in black, so this is definitely outside my comfort zone. I just have an issue with seeing stitches, and also when it comes to like making content, black doesn't really stand out well in videos. Like crochet things tend to be like full of a lot of color, very vibrant and everything, so I don't really use this. But yeah, we have this color, and then I also have this really nice yarn that I actually got in Zimbabwe, these three. So I bought two of these white ones, and it has little speckles of black, which is very pretty, and it will go very well with this black yarn as well. And then I have this grey yarn, and it has specks of orange and a little bit of black, I think. Here it is up close. It's very pretty. And then lastly, I have some white yarn and then some grey yarn, and these go so well together, like all of them combined. Just look how pretty this looks. Oh, the grey is somewhere on the floor. I think it just dropped. But yeah, this is what we're going to be working with today. I'm using this 4mm crochet hook, and yeah, let's get started on crocheting while I tell this story. So I grew up homeschooled. I actually went to school for the first time when I was 14 years old. So I'm 19 years old right now. So I was exposed to a variety of different things while I was homeschooled. Like, I need to thank my mom for homeschooling me, because I feel like if I went to school, like at the regular age of 5 or 6, I would not be the person that I am today. So, I'll speak more about that later on. But I started knitting, sewing, and doing art lessons when I was about 5 years old. So all these things kind of come to me naturally. Crochet is a very new thing that I started learning, but since I was already that creative person that made things by hand, it really didn't take me that long to learn. But different people, learn at different speeds and different paces, but I learned how to crochet pretty quick. And the whole designing crochet things as well, I just implemented my knowledge from designing clothes to crochet, because I wanted to be a fashion designer when I was really young. I always just loved making clothes and making my own clothing and everything, and that was just my set career path. Like, that was my career path since I was very young, and even now I'm kind of doing it. I'm kind of designing clothes, but I'm not a labeled fashion designer. I don't think I'll ever forget the time when I went to this craft show. Like, every single year when I was younger, we'd go to the NEC in Birmingham, and they host this craft fair where different artists come and display their work, and different companies will also come, like jewelry making companies or knitting companies. They'll come with different creative colors of yarn and different types of yarn as well. And little old Aisha was there knitting with these big chunky needles that were almost as tall as her, and I was just knitting away, and then people were just like watching me. I have a video of that, and sometimes I just look at that video and I'm like, sometimes people are just born with it. Like some people are just born creative, or they're born like really intelligent. Like my older brother, he's very, very smart. But yeah, some people are just born with that. It's like their natural instinct. And both my parents actually are very creative as well. Like especially my dad, he actually knows how to crochet. I That shocks me. Like when I started learning how to crochet like 2 years ago, he was like, "Oh, I also know how to crochet," and I was like, "What?" And he was crocheting, but he doesn't really do it, but he just knows how to. So I feel like I get my creativeness from both my parents as well. So yeah, it's just part of me. This yarn is so tangled. Like I haven't even crocheted anything yet. I'm just trying to untangle this. I really don't want to waste it. But I feel like I'm very, very lucky to have been homeschooled, because my parents made sure that we almost did every single activity on the planet. Like I would do woodwork, tennis, gymnastics, swimming. I did gymnastics for a couple years. Swimming, I loved swimming, but nowadays I don't like swimming. Horse riding as well. What else? Baking, cooking. And I feel like we learnt actual life skills at home. School doesn't really teach you life skills. It just teaches you how to be a good worker. Like it prepares you for the workforce, and they don't really teach you things that will be beneficial in life. Like obviously work is very important, but that's not all there is to life. So I feel like I'm very well rounded in terms of picking careers and actually learning skills that will benefit me in life. So let's talk about, yeah, fashion design. I wanted to be a fashion designer, but it didn't really, I wouldn't say it didn't really work out, because I still make clothes and I still design clothes. But yeah, that was like my main goal as a child. So when I was around 12 years old, I discovered filmmaking and photography. Like that was my thing. I started my YouTube channel actually when I was 12 years old, and that was in the era where slime and loom bands were very, very prominent. And loom bands, obviously you make bracelets, so that was my obsession. I used to make so many different bracelets and everything. And even when it came to slime, I loved experimenting with different slime techniques, like using shaving foam. I would use everything in the house. My mom would get so annoyed. I'll be using dish soap and salt and everything just to try and make these different slimes that I've seen on YouTube as well, made by other creators. And I wanted to document the entire process and just show everyone how to do it as well. I just loved teaching people how to make things, and even now I still do that in the form of crochet. So fast forward to 2020, I started school for the first time, and it was an okay experience. I actually did really well in my GCSEs, specifically in English language and literature. For all of you guys outside the UK, I got a grade A, but in the UK I got a grade 7, which is equivalent to an A. So I did really well in that regard, and also science as well. I really loved chemistry. I got a B in maths, chemistry, and physics. But yeah, it was really good. But the thing is, school really limited my creativity. It really kind of changed my way of thinking almost. It made me think that I needed to be a scientist or a doctor or an engineer, and that art wasn't really a functional career. That's just something you did in school to, I don't know, add more onto your grades or your personal statement or something. But they would never really regard art as a full on career. And that was very prominent when I was doing my A levels. My A levels. Oh my gosh, that was an interesting experience. So I picked maths, chemistry, and sociology for my A levels. I don't know what possessed me to choose such subjects, but um, my school was just the type where you needed to pick a sensible career. Like, pick something sensible and then you will do well in life. And the pressure to apply to university during year 12 and 13 was very much there. Um, but the thing is, I'm an artist, you know, I'm a very creative person. So I was trying to look for university degrees that would help me in my creative journey, maybe to be a fashion designer or something like that. But I ended up applying for mechanical engineering, which is definitely, it was a shock to many people around me because I just wanted to go to university. I wanted to go to university and do a degree, just so you know I'm qualified and everything, so I could get a job in that field later on. And I genuinely believe that going to university for like anything creative is a waste of time. You can literally learn that online, some courses and everything. Like you can't be paying 28,000 to learn how to draw. Like that's not good. That is a waste of money. But if you want to, like obviously you can. But I just didn't see the benefits of paying so much to learn how to draw and cut out fabric and all of that. Like I've been doing that for many years. So I applied for mechanical engineering because that's something that I needed to learn. You know, I've never done anything like that before in my life. And I knew that it was the wrong career for me because in maths, like you do pure maths, mechanics, and statistics. And I hated mechanics, but that's most of mechanical engineering. So that's where you knew, like, that's where I knew, oh girl, that's not the right career path for you. One thing that I really learned that school did to me was it really dulled down my creativity. It almost forced me to be an academic. There's nothing wrong with being an academic. I'm very smart. But and it's good to be smart as well in terms of your maths, English and science and everything. But I just didn't create as much and I just didn't have any ideas either. It's almost like school forces you to think one way, like everyone needs to think the same way, and it's almost like they're making a certain mold, like they're shaping you to be perfect for the workforce and to be the perfect model student and to be the perfect type of person to go into university. It's like everyone's the same. And I didn't want to do that, but obviously when you're in the environment, you have to act like you're a product of the environment. And standing out like that, it would make you really stick out and people will be looking at you, people will be judging you and everything. So during my GCSE time, like I was saying, I didn't create any videos, I didn't really sew much. I was just focused on getting the best exam results. But during A level time, that's when careers start like running through your mind. Like, what do you want to do with your life? And that's when I was like, I need to take advantage of my creativity and try and turn it into a career. So even though I applied for mechanical engineering, at the back of my mind, I knew that I didn't want to do it. So whenever my family members would ask me, "Oh, Aisha, what are you doing after A levels?" I'll tell them, "Oh, mechanical engineering. Don't worry, I'll get that degree. I'll do mechanical engineering." Because my grandparents are very old fashioned in a way that you have to get a degree, and like if you don't get a degree, you're like seen as like an anomaly. Like what are you doing with your life? Why don't you have a degree? Why haven't you graduated? You know, they're really stuck in that way of thinking. I don't blame them. Like they're like, I don't want to exaggerate their age. I actually don't know the specific age. I was going to call them like 80 years old. They probably are like 80 years old actually. Yeah. So when they grew up, there was no internet. Like you couldn't make a career on social media back then. Like university was kind of the only option. It was like university or work. But nowadays you can make a whole full on career online, like from your phone, from the comfort of your own bed. And me being the person that I am, that just sounds so ideal. Like just sitting down, talking to you guys, crocheting, sharing tips and tricks and everything on how you can also. The video just cut out, but Yeah, sharing things and teaching people how they can also be creative, like unlock your inner creativity. There's more to life than university, and I'll always stand by this as well. Unless you want to be an engineer and unless you want to be a doctor, then that's a different story, then go for it. But if you're just an average person that wants to unlock their true potential, maybe university is not for you. Like, is it worth paying like 28,000 plus interest instead of like learning a skill and making money a lot quicker than you would if you went through the whole education system? Like, there's so many other ways online where you can make money, and I know it's very, very time consuming, but I feel like the longer something takes to have, the more value it has. Almost like easy come easy go. Like, if you want to go through the whole university process, that's like 3 years, and then bam, you get employed, that's fine, and you have a salary, but then you have to pay back your student loan and all of that. That's an easy process to go through. But if you want to start your own thing and start social media and stuff, that does take a very, very long time to grow. But like the reward after would be so, so good. Like, you can get brand deals, you can work with people that are also in your niche, like in your community, and you can inspire others and just like try new things whilst you are doing what you love. So that's the path that I want to go down. And obviously my grandparents don't really understand it. They're still telling me till this day to go to university, but I feel like they don't see the vision. And I don't think they see the vision. Like, I tried explaining to my grandfather when I went to Zimbabwe what I want to do, and he told me that, Aisha, you're a creative person, that comes to you naturally, but why don't you just do something that's more stable, that's more secure? And I know where he's coming from. Like, he's not trying to be like this malicious person telling me to give up on my dreams and do something that I don't want to do. He's saying this from a place of care, because he doesn't want me to be in a position where I am broke, unemployed, and all of these things that he feels like will come if this doesn't work out. Um, but one thing that I've been learning to do a lot recently is to trust myself. If I want to do something, I should go for it regardless of what other people think. Because I know, like, back home, it would be very, very hard to explain to relatives what I'm actually doing. Because with my brothers, they're both in university. One is studying astrophysics, which is a recognizable course, and my other one is studying architecture, which is another recognizable course. Like, people can, back home can brag, oh, my grandsons, they're in university. I don't know why the camera keeps cutting out, but yeah, astrophysics and architecture, very, very recognizable courses, and very easy for my grandparents to tell other people about. But then when it comes to me, what's your granddaughter doing? She's crocheting. Do you see how bad that sounds? That sounds like, what the hell? Like, what is she doing? Crocheting, what do you mean? And then, like, I still can't believe I made such a decision. Um, because the school almost like forced me to pick something to apply to university with, like I was mentioning before, but then I decided to break free. Like, I'm not doing that. Sorry. I don't want to work as an engineer, especially a mechanical engineer. I'm so sorry. That's like a very male dominated field. I'm not saying that I would not thrive in it. I think I would do really well if I decided to do engineering, because anything that I personally decide to do, I know I'll do well. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'd be a good engineer, but we'll never know because, I'm not an engineer. So, yeah, I remember the smile on my grandparents' faces when I said I was going to do engineering. They were so happy. Oh my gosh. But now, I'm a degreeless granddaughter that sits at home and crochets. But anyway, I don't really look down on it like that. But when you say it like that, it kind of sounds like, what is she doing? But I feel like when everything takes off, then my grandparents will see the vision. But right now, they're like, I don't know what she's doing, to be honest. But with my parents, they've always encouraged me to, do what I want to do what makes me happy. Because I know this is so cliche, but it's so true. Life is so short. You cannot be living through the lenses of other people. Just just to make them happy. Like, there's more to life than that. Like, if my grandparents really want me to go to university, they should go themselves. Why put so much pressure on me to go into university? I want to see how far I can take this. And the thing is, I have my A-levels. I passed my A-levels, maths, chemistry, sociology. Like, it's not like I'm qualificationless. Like, I could go to university whenever I want, but right now I'm young. Let me try this out, and if it fails, I can get a job. I can go and enroll in university when I'm like in my 20s. Oh no, wait, 20s is soon. I realize I'm 19. Yeah, maybe my late 20s I can enroll in university or something like that. But I genuinely believe that this will work, and I feel like that's what matters the most. There's an ice cream van in the background. I'm sure you can hear it. But yeah, I don't want to be embarrassed about what I do. Like, whenever people ask me, oh, what are you doing now? Like, I tell them, oh, I finished my A levels, but I decided to, pursue crocheting full time. I always say in such a low voice, like, oh, I finished my A levels. I decided not to go to university and pursue crocheting full time. It's almost like a secret. It's almost like you're embarrassed to say it. But I need to learn how to say it with pride, especially some of the things that I make. Like, I genuinely love them. A lot of people love them as well. And I just need to be more confident in myself that I can make this work. And I think I'd make young Aisha so proud, honestly. Young Aisha with those chunky knitting needles, just, creating away. And now older Aisha is trying to turn her passion, her young childhood passion, into a career. Like, isn't that just doing justice to myself? Like, honestly, I never saw myself in university, even when I talked to my friends about it. Like, we would all apply for university and everything, but I never saw myself as a student there, because even school, like I was mentioning before, school ruined my creativity so much, and it took me a while to get back in the creating process. During my A levels, actually, during my free periods, lunchtime, and everything. Around that time is when I learned how to crochet, like almost 2 years ago now. And I would take my crochet projects into school without even knowing what I'm doing, but I just knew that I wanted to learn how to crochet because I felt like it'd be very, very beneficial to add to my list of things that I can do. So I did that in a lot of my free time. And yeah, you could tell that I didn't want to be there. Like, I didn't want to be in my maths class. I didn't want to be in my chemistry class. I wanted to create something and share my art with the world. And round about that time is when I started my crochet YouTube channel, and now we're over 1,000 subscribers. I could never have imagined that. I remember when I was a young YouTuber, like 12 years old, I just did it for fun. I didn't really care about the numbers and everything. And even now, it's not like I fixate on the numbers, but it's just nice seeing this community grow. And yeah, I think young Aisha will just be so proud, so happy for me right now, to see where I am today. And I know it's not like I'm this crazy big crochet YouTuber yet, but this is the journey towards that. So yeah, even in school, like I was mentioning before, I used to crochet a lot. I got this order from this crochet lunch lady. That was a disaster. I can't even lie to you. That was terrible. I'll link the video that I made about it in the description box below. Not the best customer experience at all, but it's a learning curve. Every single failure in life, you learn from it. I know that's so cliche, but it's so true as well. Now I know what not to do or what to do better when I start selling things that I've made. I do want to talk about the pros and cons of starting a crochet business. That can be maybe another podcast episode. But yeah, I just wanted this episode to really introduce to you guys who I am, and the fact that I didn't just start crocheting out of nowhere. I was young, I was creative, I loved the process of making things from scratch and the entire design process and everything. Like, I feel like that was burned into my DNA. You know, when people talk about how, oh, she was doing this from a young age, blah blah blah, all these talented artists and singers and designers and scientists, even, it always started from a young age, and you can't really explain why you gravitate towards it. It's just part of your personality. And that's with me. Like, there was no crazy journey as to how I started making things. It's just me. And I've been doing it forever since that I can remember. And crochet, like I mentioned before, is just a new thing, you know. I wanted to learn how to make these things, and I did, and I'm still learning how to crochet till this day, like learning different stitches and everything. So we still have a lot to learn. I wonder what my teachers in school are probably thinking. They're probably thinking that I'm in university now, and I don't know, that I'm in my first year and I'm, ready to graduate soon. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, it really does not matter what people think about you. You just need to have that confidence and that belief in yourself that you can make something work. And I mentioned in my previous video, like, even if this whole thing doesn't work out, at least I tried. I feel like a lot of people nowadays are scared to take that risk because it's just it's like so unordinary. Is that a word? Yeah, it's just so unordinary to like not go to university and just, chase after your dreams. But like I said, if I believe that it works out, then it should work out, I'm not really scared that it won't work out. But one thing that I was thinking about lately was that maybe I should get a job, just on the side while I'm crocheting everything, maybe like a part-time job, so I can make money and invest in my crochet business and my crochet career. I think that would be very helpful. But I have applied to jobs, but I just don't want to do them. A lot of them are actually full time, and it's like working in grocery shops or retail, and I just don't want to work in retail. I don't want to work in grocery shops. I just want to do something else. Maybe like a social media content creator job. I'll look into those. But yeah, I want to do something that's more creative, something that aligns more with me. Like, I don't want to be stocking shelves. Not that it's a bad thing, everyone needs the shelves stocked in grocery stores. I'm not really looking down upon that, but just as me as an individual, like, I don't want to be doing that. Yeah. But I can't wait until my whole crochet thing takes off, and then I can literally just get paid for sitting home and just creating things and teaching you guys how to create things. I'm very, very passionate about teaching people how to crochet and teaching people how to sew, because I feel like everyone's creative, but you just need to unlock it. Some people, it just takes a little bit of, just some encouragement and everything. Because a lot of people just say, oh, I can't draw, I can't sew, I can't crochet, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like, have you actually properly tried? Because if you properly tried, then I feel like you would with anything. If you truly wanted to learn, then you would. Alright guys, I am going to conclude the video here. I really hope you enjoyed it. I need genuine feedback. Like, would you guys listen to me talk and crochet while you're crocheting your own projects? Let me know, because I feel like this will be a very good idea. And I have a list of other topics that I want to talk about. These videos are unscripted, so I just say things that come to my mind. So if I kind of talk like it's all over the place, then that's why. I've never really sat down and spoken about an entire topic like this before, but I think I did a decent job. And we still have a lot to learn. This is my first podcast. Alright guys, this is how much I've crocheted. Only this much, like a couple chains. I will post an update on this sweater though on my Instagram, TikTok, and on my YouTube post, or a short or something like that. But yeah, this is how much I've done. I realized I can't really talk and crochet. It's okay, especially when it comes to chaining. Like, I don't even know what number chain this is. But yeah. Alright guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you got more of an insight as to who I am. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys very, very much.